Those who want to control you, the first thing that they do is to change your name. Even God changes his name when he wants to deal with you. When you are Abraham, he makes you Abraham. When you are Sarai, he makes you Sarah. And the very first thing that the colonialists did was to change our names, to convince us that a Christian name could only be Andrew and Mary and Jane and all these other names, that Kamau cannot be a Christian name, that Njoroge cannot be a Christian name, and we believed it. And I'm submitting to us that there is a sense in which our minds are not free.
Your name is Toby. I want to hear you say it. Your name is Toby. You're going to learn to say your name. Let me hear you say it. What's your name?
Kunta Kinte.
I'm submitting to us that even your generation is not free. I'm submitting to us that in that book of Daniel, even though their names were chained to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and Belshazzar, there is something that they did not allow to change in them. They refused to eat meat or anything that was sacrificed to the idols. And you remember that day when Nebuchadnezzar put forth an image which was 6 cubits high and 6 cubits wide, and they reported to Nebuchadnezzar that this young man had refused to worship this idol. The young man said, we shall not worship it because the Lord that we serve is going to save us. But even if he does not, we shall not bow down. And the story is then told that when they were thrown into the fire, those who threw them into the fire were consumed by the fire. But within a few minutes, Nebuchadnezzar himself said, but we threw in 3 of them, but there appears to be a 4th man who is like the son of the gods. I'm submitting to us that at all critical times in history, we have to make painful choices. I'm speaking to you Africans who are Christian, who are present here. What choices have you made? Have you made choices to run away to the United States to get the green card? Is that your choice? Have you made a choice to run away to Europe to flip hamburger? Have you made a choice to run away to go to Europe and to be humiliated at the embassies of the United States of America, Australia, and the United Kingdom? I'm submitting to us that we must change, because the divine instruction is that each one of us must make do with what we have. It cannot be right that a continent that is so blessed has our young men and women with only one ambition: to go to the United States. I know families where when wives are pregnant, they want to go to the United States that they may give birth there, that their child may be a citizen of the United States of America. The United States of America was not built by an army of angels. No, it was built by human beings. And I'm submitting to us that going forward, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, we must make a choice. And I'm submitting to us that if your Christianity is the kind of Christianity that only appeals to your emotions and make you feel good without making you good, that is not Christianity. Because there is a variety of Christianity today that makes you feel good, but it doesn't make you good. And I'm submitting to us that we must change now. Because if we don't change now, you are going to be subdued by other civilization. And as I said at one forum, and I repeat it now, there are 2 ways of being at the dinner table of civilization. You can be at the dinner table as a diner or as a waiter. Choose you now. Whether you want to be a diner or a waiter, choose you now. But even as I proceed, I have not forgotten that there is another book, that there is the battle between Elijah and the gods of Baal. Today, we have erected unto ourselves gods of Baal. The story is told of King Nebuchadnezzar and how he conquered the territory that was occupied by the Jewish people. And we are told that immediately he made that conquest, he asked one of his officers to identify from within the ranks of the conquered people intelligent individuals. And the Bible records in that book of Daniel that they identified Daniel. They also identified an individual called Ananias, and they identified another individual called Mishael, and a third one called Azariah. And the Bible proceeds to tell us that they were all renamed Belshazzar, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And there is a sense in which it is those given names that they are known by throughout the ages. And we are told that they were schooled in the arts and that they were some of the most intelligent individuals. If one were to be dramatic about it, one may say that they gained admission into the University of Nebuchadnezzar. And if one says so, that there were certain protocols to be followed once you joined the University of Nebuchadnezzar. Number one, that you are to eat from the king's table and to drink the king's wine. But these individuals were so wedded to their own conviction for their own God that they made a request of the king's attendants that they be allowed to take food that was not served from the king's table. And we are told that after 10 days they were better than everybody else. And we are further told that on the day of graduation, when they were examined, they were 10 times better than everybody else.